Good. So, first of all, today is a holiday. This is Yud Beit Tammuz. Yud Beit Tammuz is the day that the previous Rebbe in 1927 got the news that he was freed from exile. He was supposed to be put into exile for 3 years. Instead, he only spent like 9 days. And before that, he was supposed to have been killed. He was put into prison and where he was tortured and everything, but they tortured him only after he missed his executioner. He was supposed to be executed immediately when he was taken to prison, and there was some sort of a mix-up. He went down to different hall, whatever. Anyway, so and he wasn't killed. So they tortured him and they beat him. Communism, and I mean, just as an innuendo, the ones who put him into prison were Jews. I think they were even one of them was even a Chassid Chabad. Maybe both of them were a guy called Nachmanson and Lulav. And they killed who knows how many Jews, and they were the big problem. There was the Yevsektia, there was the Jewish section that made war, but they had like ultimate power over there, ultimate power. They could kill a person, no problem. Had absolutely no problem. They had to get orders to do it, but they did. And they did. They killed, like I said before, there's estimates, they don't know to this day, but there are estimates, that you say, reliable estimates that Stalin killed 50 million of his own people. Some people say it wasn't such a bad guy. He only killed 30 million. He killed 20 million. To this day, they don't know how many millions of people he killed. These people just disappeared. If you add that up to all the millions that were killed in the war, right? And they were killed they say that 27 million Russians were killed in World War II. The Nazis killed 27 million Russians. They came in, they just killed everybody. It just isn't amazing. Anyway, it doesn't seem real, but the whole thing doesn't seem to be real. And here in the middle of all this death, this ocean of death, is public enemy number one, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, who was going, against the government, even though that he brought up that according to the government laws, a person has a right to do his religion. That's what it says in the Communist Manifesto. We're not forcing anybody's religion, which of course is not true, but that. And so he defied them totally, and he was, like I say, sentenced to death, and he was beaten up, and he was put into this solitary confinement with mud up to his knees, and all sorts of creepers on the walls with rodents and things like that, and terrible things. And for almost a month, he was put in that prison and tortured, and and he was let out. And in the end, he won. Communism fell, and here's Chabad. Here we are. Right? Doesn't make any sense, but here we are. And Judaism is growing. And communism is just a few, misfits in universities are still, longing for communism. But except for that, communism simply doesn't exist. So it says, what's the opposite of communism? What's the opposite of egotism? What's the opposite of death? What's the opposite of ignorance? Is Moshiach. Moshiach is a person that's going to put meaning into everybody's personal life and show how unique everybody is and how amazingly demanding every instant of reality is. Because that's what God created us for. He created us that we should work, change the world. It says that's what it means, like the days of going out of Egypt. I will show you miracles by means of God himself. That God himself will show every single Jew tremendous miracles of the redemption. And then it won't be necessary to have all these explanations, and it's hard to kasha lifol shichur b'hakara b'hergesh adam, that a person without these big miracles, it's hard for a person to get rid of his own feelings and his own nature. How do we do it then? What do we do? How do we make God revealed? Or when God is revealed, how do we appreciate it? So the answer is learning Torah about Mashiach and about the Geula. That's basically what we're doing in the morning classes, right? In the power of the Torah. The Torah is not just a book. It's not just a book that explains about something, right? It certainly is that also. Oh, the Torah certainly is that. I mean, Torah certainly tells us what to do. But the Torah has power. The Torah itself has power. When a Jew says the words of the Torah, It purifies the world. When a Jew takes the Torah inside of him, it makes a unification between God's wisdom and our wisdom. It's like planting a seed in the ground. You take the seed, when you put it in the ground, a new thing happens. The same thing when the Torah goes inside of us, a new thing happens. And so this is the wisdom of God. So and the Torah is understandable. When you learn in the Torah ideas about Moshiach, then this changes our nature. That's what the Torah can do in general. That also your own feeling, even if you presently happen to be, God forbid, unaffected and how do you say, excited, not excited about the impending geula that's supposed to come any moment, because you still have not gone out of your own internal prison. You're still thinking about yourself. And so, but by means of learning Torah and the geula, you elevate to a whole new level of geula, a whole new idea. And you start thinking not in your normal terms, but you start thinking in God's terms. I'll let God do something. Umatchil, you begin to live and be enlivened and be excited about the fact that geula is the way things are supposed to be. It's supposed to be that God is revealed everywhere. It's supposed to be that Mashiach brings all the Jews to Jewish awareness. It's supposed to be that the Holy Temple is here and that we're all serving God in Israel, and that every Jew wants to serve God with every fiber of his soul. That's all, and then that gives us satisfaction. Mashpimoto, that's the satisfaction we get. That's how the Tanya starts off. Mitoch yediyah v'hakara hargasha shehine zebo, that we feel Mashiach is supposed to be here any second. That's the way things are supposed to be. And yesh l'kasher zeh, we can attach this to what it says in Pirkei Avot. We're now learning the 6th chapter of Pirkei Avot. Is that right? Is our week 6th chapter? I don't know if it is back then. Let me have a minute over here. 1 minute. What can I do? I forget from one week to the other. 1 second. Yeah, that is right. It is the 6th chapter. Yes, the 6th chapter of Pirkei Avot. It's the last chapter of Pirkei Avot. It says, "Shanu chachamim b'lashon Mishnah." The wise Jews, the wise men of the Jews, the holy wise men, they taught the Mishnah. Baruch shebachar b'hem. Blessed is God that chose them and their Torah learning. Rabbi Meir said, anyone who learns Torah lishma, for the sake of God, for the sake of the Torah, zochel l'dvarim harbe, he merits many things. Well, that's what it says in this week's Torah. How is this relevant to the redemption that's supposed to happen any second? How is it relevant to our service of God? We'll see. It says that the wise men should be blessed and their Torah should be blessed. Rabbi Meir says, anyone who learns the Torah for the sake of the Torah, for the sake of God, merits a lot of good things. He gets a lot of gifts. First of all, we have to ask a question. That's what Rabbi Meir said. Rabbi said several questions. Number one, that what it says that the Chachamim taught in the language of the Mishnah, this idea should be at the beginning of Pirkei Avot, not at the end. This is the last chapter of Pirkei Avot, number 6, chapter 6. This idea that the wise men, they were the ones that taught the Mishnah, that should be in the very beginning. That every word that we're going to learn here in Pirkei Avot, which Pirkei Avot, by the way, is not laws. It's the only book of the Mishnayot that does not say laws. It's just good advice. It's good advice how to serve God more than is expected. It says, Mili de Chasiduta, how to serve God in a way that's more than is demanded from us. Oh. And says this should be put right in the beginning of the whole Pirkei Avot. Kolomer, Braita this is a Braita, Balashon a Mishnah, he shanui, of Eno Mishnah. Ma shanu chachamim. It says this, the first 5 chapters, that's called Mishnah. And the last one is called a Braita. This is a Braita, are same thing as Mishnah basically, but it wasn't included in the order of Mishnahs by Rabbeinu HaKodesh, by Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi he knew the whole Torah. So he took all of the things. The Torah hadn't been written down. Everybody just remembered everything. That's what they would do all day. They would just remember, right? Like you have kids walking on the street that remember all the words to these rap songs or whatever it is, all the, I mean, the Havdil to be said, right? This is all these great men. They remembered every word of the Torah, every word of what the rabbis before them said. They remembered everything. And Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, he was like at the end of the Tanaim, well, how they're called disparagingly, the Pharisees. They all had the power, it says, to raise the dead. It says even his pupils had the power to raise the dead. It says that he took all of the Torah and he arranged it. The ones that he thought were the most clear and important, he made Mishnah. And the ones that were also important, but maybe not so clear, whatever, that he left out. Those were called Braita. Braita means on the outside. So all the 5 chapters of Pirkei Avot are all Mishnahs. And the last one is called a Braita. It says, up to now, the chapters of the Mishnah, you had to, all the chapters of the Mishnah, therefore it's necessary to understand that this is a Braita. A Braita means it's outside. So maybe you might think it's not so important. So therefore it comes and says, no, that every word of the wise men is important, no matter where it is. Since it didn't come on its own. This came together with it's one big Mishnah that Rabbi Meir said, and how important it is to learn the Torah. That's this whole 6th chapter, is Rabbi Meir saying how important it is to learn the Torah. So it must have some connection to all the 5 previous ones. So why doesn't it come in the beginning? The idea that all of the words of the rabbis are important, they're all the word of God. So that should come right in the beginning of the whole business. That's also, we have to understand why are these, on each one of these sayings that he said, the rabbis learned in the language of the Mishnah. Blessed are those who them and their teachings. Rabbi Meir said, anyone who works in Torah, why make these things 2 separate things? What Rabbi Meir said. Let's see. Number 2, that what it says that the wise men learned in the language of the Mishnah after Rabbeinu HaKodesh. We said Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, he arranged the Mishnahs, the 6 orders of Mishnahs, that include a tremendous mispar. I'm sorry. Shekolas mispar kavua, a set number of the Masechtot of the Torah, of the Talmud, right? There's the Masechtot, which are, for instance, in the laws of holidays. So you have one Masechet is on Passover, and another Masechet is on Purim, and another Masechet is on Rosh Hashanah. Another one is on Yom Kippur. So that's all under the tractate of holidays, Moadim. So in the Mishnayot that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi arranged, this is the foundation and the order of the whole entire oral Torah. All of the chapters, all the Mishnayot, but the Braitot, those sayings of the rabbis of the Tanaim that were not included in the Mishnah, they're divided on their own. Why do you have to add this on a Braita to a Mishnah in Masechet Avot? Say Masechet Avot is just the first 5 chapters. Why stick a Braita on the end of it? That this Braita is called part of the Mishnah. What does it mean? I mean, Braita are laws which were not included by Rabbi Yehuda Nasi in the order of the Mishnah. They weren't so important to him. So if they weren't so important and they were called Braita, which means outside, so why did they stick a Braita over here at the end of the 5 chapters of Mishnah of Pirkei Avot. Just have the 5 chapters of Mishnah of Pirkei Avot. And this Breita, put it with the Breitas. Why stick a Breita at the end? Why? Question number 2. So question number 1 is, if you want to say that this Breita tells us that all of the words of the rabbis are true, so put it in the beginning. That should be before everything. Question number 1. Question number 2, why is there a Breita at all? Why put a Breita there? Breitas are not as powerful as the Mishnah. So just have Pirkei Avot, the chapters of the Father, should be 5 chapters of Mishnah. Why stick a Breita at the end? Question number 3. Remember what Rabbi Meir said. What did he say? Blessed be the rabbis and their laws. Kaven, this is in the continuation of a lot of things about learning Torah for the sake of heaven. And what does he say here? Let's go back. What does Rabbi Meir say? It says, Rabbi Meir says, anyone who learns Torah for the sake of God merits many things. Right? Merits many things. That's what Rabbi Meir said. Anyone who learns the Torah for the sake of the Torah merits to many things. That's what Rebbe Meir said. Okay, so let's question number 3. What does it mean that he says that he merits to many things? This seems to be unnecessary. Hagdama zu seems to be arichat lashon she'enu matim lashon Mishnah. This doesn't exactly go according to what the Mishnah says, that the wise men learned katzar. Mishnah, it's supposed to be short. Also, what does it mean? If you learn Torah for the sake of the Torah, only for the sake of the Torah, not for yourself, then you merit a lot of things. Well, I thought you're learning the Torah for the sake of itself. What do you care about if you merit things or not? Why is it? So, in general, the Rebbe is asking, why are there 6 chapters of the Pirkei Avot, the lessons of the fathers? 6 chapters. There should be 5 chapters. Those are all Mishnahs. And this one is stuck on, for seemingly, it's out of place. It's a Breita. It shouldn't have been stuck over there. And we also want to understand the language of what Rabbi Meir said. What does it mean? Blessed are those, one who learns the Torah merits to a lot of things. Right? What does it mean? Why add on all these extra words? The whole purpose of the Mishnah is supposed to be very terse and very exact. Okay, yesh loma, we can say it like this. And what's this got to do with Moshiach and coming Moshiach? So the word Breita means something outside. It was taught outside of the Beit HaMidrash, of the place of learning, of Rabbeinu HaKodesh. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi did not include this in the regular order of learning, the Breita. These were sayings by the rabbis, which were valid, but for whatever reason the Rabbi Yehuda had, he didn't include this in the Mishnah. It's, so to speak, outside. Okay, and therefore, it's called a Breita language outside. Chutz bar means outside. Ki targum mechutz, because the Aramaic translation of the word outside is mivra, to be outside. That's what mivra means, outside. Inside is milgav. This is mivra is emiot. Maybe I can get my, one second over here. Emiot, even though that a Breita is lower than a Mishnah, and that's what the whole 6th chapter of Pirkei Avot is. It's a Breita, and that's why it's called outside. It's a lower level, but still it's part of the Torah, and there is all of the highness and the power of the Torah. Rabbi Yehuda didn't put it in because he thought maybe it wasn't as important, whatever, but it's still as valid and accurate as anything else in the Torah. Everything was given to Moses on Mount Sinai. This whole idea is stressed in Pirkei Avot. Pirkei Avot that begins with how the Torah was received. How does Pirkei Avot begin? Chapter of the Fathers. Look it up. it talks like this. This is how it starts off. Moses received the Torah from Mount Sinai. He gave the Torah to Yoshua. Yoshua gave it to the wise men. The wise men gave it to the prophets. And it says the prophets gave it to the men of the great assembly. The men of the great assembly said three things. One of them is make a lot of pupils. Hemidu Talmidim. That's what it says right in the beginning of Pirkei Avot. And at the end of Pirkei Avot, which those are 5 chapters of Mishnah, Mitzarfim lemishnayot, it adds on also Breita, which they were taught outside of the place of learning of Rabbeinu HaKodesh. Okay, but nevertheless, everything that was taught, whether it was in the Beit HaMidrash and Rabbeinu HaKodesh, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, he put it into the Mishnah, or whether it was outside of the Beit HaMidrash and he didn't put it in the Mishnah, but nevertheless, this includes everything in the Torah, everything that anyone was going to learn in all the future generations. In Makdimim, we say that everything was taught by means of the wise men, the Chachamim. Like it says, Kol banayech limudei Hashem. Those, all of your sons, they learn the wisdom of God in the language of the Mishnah. Why? The Horo to indicate Shamalatam Shava Lamaylat Mishnah. So therefore, the Breita is taught there. That's what Rebbe Meir is saying over here. That the Breita is coming to tell us that even though the Breita was not learned together with the Mishnah, but it has the same power and the same godliness as the Mishnah does. The Kol Yoter, even more, calling the Breita, in the Breita, those things which are taught outside of the Mishnah, all of the topics of the Torah which were revealed now. Shem B'chinas Chutz. So you might think, where's the Torah? The Torah was given on Mount Sinai, right? It says, yeah, that was a little bit of the Torah. That was what we call the written Torah. But then afterwards, Moses came down and explained a lot of laws to the rabbis. That already began the oral Torah. And then in the course of the generations, and let's say even more, right before the Jews went into Israel, so Moses explained the whole book of Deuteronomy to the Jews, which that came from Moses' mouth. It doesn't say that God told me to say. Moses just said it, but everybody knew it was God speaking. So that's a little bit, another way God reveals himself. And then in the later generations they wrote it down. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi wrote down the laws exactly how we heard the explanations, what's called the oral Torah. That has the same power as the written Torah, as the 5 books of Moses. In the middle also, there's all the other prophets that came after Moses. And here we see there's even more. There's what's called Breita. Breita, those are laws which are taught outside of the Beit HaMidrash for all of the generations. Rebbe Yehuda Nasi was about 2,000 years ago, something 1,800 years ago. All the laws which are learned outside, and there's right now. Lagabi Torah Chadasha Me'iti Teitze. And eventually the Moshiach is going to come, and he's going to really renew the Torah. He'll also make new laws. New laws, like we said before, the fish is going to slaughter the ox, and it'll be permissible to eat. And there'll be new laws in Penimiyut Torah. Laws about how to love God, how to fear God. There will be the secret, like it says in the beginning of the Song of Songs, God will kiss us with the kisses of his mouth. On Mount Sinai, God just spoke to us. When Mashiach comes, God will kiss us. We'll see the secrets of the Torah, the secret of all of the concealed reasons of the Torah. The reasons for the commandments. We'll do the commandments, but we'll feel the soul of them. This will be revealed in the days of the Mashiach. Oh, so we see that this whole idea that there was a Breita at the end of Pirkei Avot, this opens up the possibility and the fact that the Torah will be revealed through people outside of the of the place of learning of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, in other words, what does it mean outside? In all the generations, in all the 1,800 years after Rabbi Yehuda, still wise men will reveal the Torah. Of course, we have to understand who's a wise man. We have to who's a genuine rabbi. That's the question. How do we determine who a genuine rabbi is? It has to be a person that has genuine fear of God and a person who genuinely wants to do all the commandments, right? And that's passed down from generation to generation. Who is a genuinely God-fearing person? Just giving you a small example, the Maimonides puts it down and says that anyone who denies even one word of the oral Torah is considered to be out of the picture. He's not a rabbi. He's not a rabbi. That's not Judaism. So if you say, I don't want to keep the second day of the holidays because it was made by the rabbis, out. Your opinion is not, don't say anymore, you're out. And that's not a rabbi. You can't listen to what he says. All of the laws that he says, all the opinions that he makes he's not a rabbi. The whole thing is but people who are genuine rabbis is we must listen to everything that they say and see, does it really go according to what the Torah said previously? If so, he has a right to make new laws. For instance, what is electricity? Is it fire or not? The rabbis sit and they decide. Genuine rabbis. But you just can't say, no, that's different. Look at what the genuine rabbis say. But when the genuine rabbis do make opinions, then that's not a valid opinion. And especially all the ideas of Hasidut that are revealed now in our generation and telling us about how to serve God with more love of the Torah, with more love of every Jew. And what does it imply that you love the Torah more? What does it imply that you love every Jew? And that's all these laws which are considered to be outside. This is already the source of what's called the new Torah that's going to come from the Moshiach. The inside of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah, the Torah that a person will learn in this world right now is just called like wind compared to the Torah that the Mashiach is going to teach us. And nevertheless, the Torah that a person learns in this world, which is outside, Breita, has the same importance as the Mishnah. True Mashiach is going to come and he's going to really show us the true inner meaning of all the commandments. He's not going to take away any commandments. We'll do all the commandments, but we'll feel the godliness in the commandments. We'll feel the godliness in every word of the Torah. We'll feel godliness in the interpretations of the rabbis. That's the main thing, how holy the rabbis are and how holy the interpretations of the rabbis of the Talmud are. And those rabbis who came after them, who also honored the rabbis of the Talmud. And that's what it means that the Torah that comes afterwards is also part of the Mishnah. Even though when the Mashiach comes and teaches us all the Torah that we've learned up to now, we'll see that it was really very external. It really didn't have the true godliness in it that it should have when Mashiach. But nevertheless, don't think that it's not godly. The words that the rabbis say now are pure godliness, just like the inside secrets of the Torah that are going to be in the days of the Mashiach. Because there's only one Torah. The Torah that Mashiach is going to teach, and the Torah we're doing right now is the same. And this is especially stressed by the fact that Rabbi Meir says this law. And Rabbi Meir says that anyone who learns Torah for the sake of the Torah, for the sake of God, he merits a lot of things. What does it mean? What does it mean, a lot of things? Simply, it doesn't mean that a lot of physical, the things that he counts afterwards. But this is a thing in itself. And it says that he merits to be wise, and he says, no, he's going to merit to a lot of things. Afterwards, what it says afterwards, that he'll be wise and he'll be intelligent, he'll be this, that's a separate thing. What are the many things he's going to merit to? It says, Habli Gavul. Many things mean the infinite feeling which is inside of the Torah. Harbe lamito, true, a lot. He says, a lot of things. What does it mean, a lot? There's no limit. He says, you'll feel the infinity of the Torah. She'ein riboy gadol miyoter mimenu. There's no amount greater than the letters of the Torah. This is what we learned. Remember just a few days ago? It says the Jewish people will be like the sand that cannot be counted. Like the dirt. Remember we said? It says sand has a tremendous number. They're all separate, but because of the Jewish people, they can't be counted. It says that's what the Jewish people. On one hand, every one of them is separate. But on the other hand, because they reveal godliness, so you can't count infinity, right? 1,000 times infinity is infinity. So every Jew is infinity. It says that's what's going to be revealed right now, what is revealed in the Torah. And in the future, this will be revealed in a revealed way. We'll reveal that the Torah comes from God. We'll feel the godliness in the Torah. We'll feel the godliness that are in the words of the rabbis. Mehuto v'atzmuto, God's essence, unlimited godliness. And this is also what Rebbe meant when he said anyone who learns the Torah for the sake of God, he merits Dvar Malchut, a lot of things. What does it mean, a lot of things? The infinity of the Torah, the godliness in the Torah, that by means of learning the Torah for the sake of Hashem, right now in this world, you will merit to the unlimitedness, the infinite blessing of the new Torah that Moshiach is going to bring. And like I said before, Moshiach is not going to come and negate any laws. The new law doesn't mean that there's God and there's no, that's all. There's no laws anymore. That's a tremendous mistake, a tremendous mistake. And the Moshiach is going to just come to add on to the Torah. He's going to come and add on to the meaning of the world, to the blessing of the world, to the meaning of the commandments, to the blessing of the commandments. The Moshiach is going to come and add on new meaning and new blessing in every single word of the Torah and every single commandment. That's what it means, a new Torah. And from there, it's something like you plant a seed in the ground and there grows up a big apple tree. So is the apple tree really new? It was there in the seed. It's not anything new. It was there, but in the seed, you didn't feel the taste and the size and the smell and this, but it was all there in the seed. The same thing, the Torah that we learn now, it's like a seed. It's, so to speak, it doesn't have any taste. It doesn't have any real smell to it. It does have. It says, that's what you think. When Mashiach comes, he's going to reveal the true essence of what the Torah is and how special the Jew is and how special the commandments are. It's going to be incomparable to the Torah that's right now. Just like an apple tree is incomparable to the seed. That also a person that feels himself in a way brighter, if you feel that you are outside and that you are far away from the situation and the revelations that are going to be in the days of the Mashiach, namely the truth. You're like a brighter, you're outside. You feel far away outside of the main godliness, which is in the Torah, that's going to be revealed in the inside secrets of the Torah. But nevertheless, by means of learning the Torah, like we're doing, learning Chassidut, and thinking about it, by learning Torah, Zochel Dvarim Harbe, you merit to infinity. Many things means infinity. What does it mean, infinity? Unlimited blessing, unlimited good. Shemit aleh michutz, that you go from being outside, brighter, and you come inside. Namely, you become permeated with the Torah. The same God that's creating you is the same God that's giving the Torah. The Torah and God are one. We don't feel it, but we will feel it. That's what it means, the secrets of the Torah. It goes inside of us. Kolel be'inyani geula, including all the matters of the redemption, the future redemption. One second. Oh. That will be the new Torah that will come out directly from me. Okay, I guess we can finish this. Why not? May it be God's will. And this is the main thing, that we will not have to just talk about this and to arouse people about this by means of thinking and contemplating in the idea of Mashiach and learning the ideas of the Mashiach and the redemption and how the third temple is going to be built. Why? Because immediately we will see with our fleshy eyes that behold here, the Mashiach is here. And the true redemption of the Jewish people in the third temple, we'll see it. And simply in this Shabbat Kodesh, this Shabbat, which is the 15th day of Tammuz. Our Shabbat is not the 15th day of Tammuz. I think it's like the, what is it? 13th day of Tammuz. Somebody took my calendar, huh? Nobody leave the room. Anyway, I keep wanting to look at it and I forget it. Okay, so this Shabbat, I think, let's see, how does it go? Yeah. Everything is. Look it up. I think that Yud Zayin Tammuz is on Monday night, right?
Monday night.
What?
Monday night.
Monday night. So therefore, this Shabbat is going to be, that's going to be something. So it'll be, this Shabbat is the 15th, isn't it? 15th of Tammuz?
No.
Huh?
Tammuz is 14th.
14th. So this Shabbos will be the 14th of Tammuz, not the 15th, like he writes over here, the Tov. That's like a, no, I'm sorry. The Shabbat that he was in was the 17th of Tammuz. That's right. There was a whole thing that he talked about, that Shabbat, that the fast, they fell on Shabbat, so they didn't fast. So we're learning. We don't, says the Rebbe, it should be that we don't have to learn about these things anymore. That we should see it, we should feel it. That right now, Parshat Balak, before we read Pinchas and Mincha, this year of I will show you miracles, that will be the completion of the kingship of King David, and Dorach Kochav B'Yakov Kam Shevet B'Yisrael. This is part of the prophecy of Mashiach in Parshas Balak. The last Mashiach, King David was the first Mashiach. The last Mashiach, which will come and redeem all the Jewish people, a Geula Nitzchis, a eternal redemption, which there is not after it any exile. And in continuing with this, all of the details which are mentioned in Parshat Pinchas, dividing the land of Israel. Pinchas says that's Elijah the prophet. It says Elijah the prophet, we'll see, he already came. And he'll come to the Beit Din, the great high court. It says it's going to be in Tiberia. And that will be the 10th high court that there was in the, and he'll divide the land of Israel, divide up the land of Israel into 13 portions. Since we already finished the 42 journeys in the desert of exile that we've been in the time of exile, and we've reached Yarden Yerecho, which that's the idea of Mashiach, that it says his smell, he'll be judged, and he will judge others by his smell, it says. And we'll go into the land of Israel. That's what's talked about in Pinchas, Parshas Pinchas, next week's Torah portion. Ever Yarden, we will cross the Jordan River. Kedma Mizracha. It means that's after the Mashiach arrives. And we will go on the other side of the Jordan River, Me'ever, on the other side of the exile that we've been. And we'll divide the land of Israel up. All of the Jewish people, like it's explained in Masa, which is afterwards, that's in 2 weeks. We'll make all the sacrifices in the Holy Temple. The sacrifices, the daily sacrifices, the sacrifices of Shabbat, the sacrifices of the holidays. That's explained in Parshas Pinchas, including also these days, which are going to transform the fast days, which will transform to new holidays. Maybe there'll be new sacrifices. And the third temple, Mikdash Hashem Konon Nedecha, that God himself will bring it down. It says the third temple, God himself will make. We will learn the new Torah from Iti Teitza, from the Mashiach, in a way that these are the words Ela Devorim. That's in Parshas Devorim. That's going to be in 3 weeks. That we will show, we will point, and we will say, this is God, Elu Devorim. This is the God that gave the Torah. Your eyes will see your teacher, seeing God in Zion. People will come to Israel and they will see that they're being created. They'll feel that all along God has been creating us. Like it says, our eyes will see when you, God, return to Tzion. That's what we say it every day, right? Twice a day, 3 times a day. That God will save the Jewish people. The Yashvu Sham. It will save also Israel. Tzion means Jerusalem. Tzion means the Holy Temple. Tzion means the Jewish people. And we'll all sit there together. Yeshvu Yishorim et Panecha. We will sit In a straight way, we'll see God's face. Take of him yad mamish. So, in other words, don't take God out of the picture. Things might seem to be pretty bleak, and the world is against us, but God is for us. And God is a much, much, much better ally than the United Nations, even if they were all for us, could possibly be. So even if the whole United Nations and also all the Martians and who knows what, the whole universe is against us, right? But the creator of the universe is for us. And one of the things that Mashiach will show is that the creator of the universe is active. He's dynamic. He's real. It's not just a biblical figure. That he's more real than anything we see now. In fact, everything we see now is just created by him. And it's all tremendously important to him. And that will be revealed in the future liberation, in the future, the future redemption. And everything that's bar, that's on the outside, the Braita will be inside. And now let's do the Yom Yom.